What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Knowles and Dogs podcast. This is episode 8, and we are talking transfer portal, coaching news, some getting into a little bit of bowl games, not a whole lot, but and the Heisman finalists, as well as some other college football awards. Yes. I'm Hunter, as always, and that is...
And I'm Dylan.
There we go.
Yeah.
We got to be fast. We got to be better on that. Here we go.
I'm just excited today. I'm excited to talk to them.
There we go.
Yeah.
We're coming to you is Thursday, December 8th, 2022 here, whenever you're watching. But we are going to be, like I said, dabbing into the awards. We just finished up, obviously, regular season of football, conference championship, so there's a little in-between break, a dead period. So we have some just kind of off-the-field stuff now. We'll be kind of met a little bit today. It's going to be a shorter show, nothing too crazy, but we will be hopping right back on Sunday for the Heisman review, as well as maybe Army-Navy, and maybe a look ahead again, some more bowl games, because we get right back into bowl action. We'll get a bowl preview show coming up.
Yeah.
But before we begin, as always, please, we need the subscribe buttons. If you're watching on YouTube, awesome. Just hit that subscribe button. View the channel, view the videos. We really appreciate it. If you want to hit that like button, that's awesome. But we need to hit that subscribe button. It takes half a second. I mean, it's really just a boop. And then you're subscribed. And then you get to see, you get all the fun stuff. And then also try to hit us up on Spotify, Amazon Music, and as soon as Dylan figures out Apple Podcasts, we'll be as soon as he gets that rolling, I'll be able to transfer everything there. But it's up on Spotify right now, so if you want to go listen to it, if you're on the road, in the car, or just anywhere, or if you're at work and you want to listen to it and you can't get on YouTube, be my guest, because we would appreciate it greatly.
Yes, we really would.
Just tell your friends. Again, it's just a boop, and then you're subscribed. It's not that hard.
So easy. It's so easy.
Exactly.
Yep. But we're gonna get straight into the show tonight.
Yes.
We're gonna start out with the Heisman finalists that were just announced the other day. We'll sprinkle in a couple of extra awards because award show tonight. I think it should be wrapping up in a minute, but let's get straight into it.
Yeah, I'll keep an update on stuff on Twitter because Twitter is a beautiful thing right now.
Oh yeah, it's going crazy.
But yeah, we'll start where a little earlier this week. So if you go back to last week, we talked about Heisman, who we thought would be in the Heisman finalists, and at this point we would kind of figure you could go a little in depth here, but I mean at this point you can go in to really say that it's just a quarterback award, right?
Yeah. I mean, it feels more and more every year. I don't know how it feels to you, but it feels to me more and more every year as the best quarterback on a college football playoff caliber team.
Has it kind of gone away from it's supposed to be an individual award now? It's more of a team award, right? Would you say?
I think it's still a mix. I think at this point, because I don't know how you feel, but I really do feel like it's almost tomorrow now, but on Saturday night they're going to announce Caleb Williams as the Heisman winner.
Yeah.
So I think to a degree there still is that individual accolade to it, but they take in what your team did way more now than they ever did before. At any point, it's no longer just look at the stat sheet, who was the best. It's okay. Well, what's he? You know what I mean? Oh, were they playing? Is the team they're playing for ranked in the top 10 and really good?
Yeah,
that's how they look at the award.
I do agree with you there because, like you and me, as well as everybody else, you went off that. I like that point you said about they're more looking more away from just not stats, but also like what your team's up to. Because one of the finalists, everybody, including myself, Stetson Bennett, was named a Heisman finalist. I did say it last podcast. He should be there. He is. He recently just won the Burlsworth Award, though. So that's the top walk-on, or former walk-on.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's the top.
Anyway.
They start their career as a walk-on. I think
Yes.
that's the.
Yeah, the former walk-on. Because I think Baker Mayfield won it. A couple of years ago too.
After he got a scholarship.
Yeah, but I do like the point because because obviously because you got Tennessee fans that are complaining, they lost their mind on Twitter because
Yeah.
Hendon Hooker was a big story why he didn't get invited. Michael Penix, you could say, if we're going off stats. You could say Blake Corum, but I don't even think he was the best running back in the country.
I think Bijan Robinson was a better running back this year, but Blake
My-
Corum was in a better system for running the football.
But you could say that, but you could also say, like, was he I don't even know if he was really Heisman worthy because as soon as he got hurt, I mean, Donovan Edwards steps in and
That's
taken over. So,
That's what I meant though by I think Bijan Robinson was a better back.
yeah.
I think Bijan Robinson. I think he'll be a better back in the NFL too. That's not what we're
He's
here
built
to talk
well.
about. Really, I think he's just built because that Michigan system with the great offensive line that really gives. They run the ball a ton and they give great protection too. So it almost feels like anybody they put in the backfield is going to be successful.
I mean, Kenneth Walker came from Michigan State last year, and he won that award last year,
Mhm.
and he's been a beast so far this year
Yeah.
in the NFL. Anyway, back to what we were talking about though. Yeah, so I think it was more of who was going to get that fourth spot because I think we figured it was Williams, Duggan, Stroud probably, even though he had a stinker of a game. And then I thought I would have figured it would have probably been Hooker. Like, I was watching it at work, and it had it on the TV.
Yeah.
I happened to watching it right when they were announcing it. And they were going in alphabetical order, and it was first name was Stetson. And I was like, holy cow.
Mhm.
Like, I'm like, no way he just got. And I saw a podcast I was watching. They said, excuse me. What do Heisman voters love? Storylines.
Yeah.
And what a storyline he would be. But I also do think what helped him too, kind of elevate, also maybe sneak in, his conference championship game he played an hell of a game.
Yeah.
I think that kind of carried it because you got 274. I think he went 23-39, 274, but he had 4 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, against a decent LSU defense, which held Bama in check, held Ole Miss in check, held Florida State in check for most
of the game.
Yeah, and that was game 1. So, I mean, it's not like they're just a bunch of nobodies. I mean, he went out and balled. So, good for him. I don't think he's going to win it. Now, if he wins it, they might as well shut Twitter down because Tennessee fans, Bama fans, whoever fans are going to lose their mind. Personally, I think Max Duggan should win it. He's not. I think here's my order, and you can say your after.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You go first.
Here's my order realistically, and it's pretty easy. I think it's Williams, Duggan. Duggan's close though, because Williams not being able to do much, even though he had the stats. Because again, if we're just stat watching, and this is where, and I'm not going to get carried off, but like the stat watchers who argue with me or if anybody else about like Bennett especially, or anybody that they think shouldn't be there, it's like anybody can go read a box score. It's what they do in the game though that matters.
Yeah.
Who shows up in the big game? Who's not? Anybody can beat up, and that's why I have Caleb Williams, Duggan, Stroud, then Bennett. Although you can make a case for Bennett because Bennett shows up in big games. He's like 26-1 as a starter in the regular season.
Yeah.
He's won every big game you asked him, really, except for the SEC title game last year. And then really you can't put that all on his fault because the defense played like shit that game.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really, so that's that. So, and Stroud, anybody can put 500 yards up on Toledo.
Yeah.
So, when you're playing Toledo, Rutgers, and Indiana, anybody can put those numbers up. So, you could actually make a case for Bennett being there. But I think it's really a Duggan Williams race here.
So, I agree with the most part with what you said there. The only thing I really disagree with you is I think the voting is going to be Williams, Duggan, Bennett, then Stroud. I think
See, that's
Stroud,
what I thought, but
yeah,
you can make a case for either one.
I agree with you. I think the reason Stroud will fall below Bennett is because Bennett got to play championship weekend and he had a great game, and Stroud's last game was, defensive player of the year candidate kind of game, and
Right?
so I think the only thing I say is that I do think Stetson Bennett was a good player this year. I do think he was a good quarterback this year. I don't agree with him being one of the 4 best players in college football this season. The only reason I would say that is because there was a moment in time there where this Georgia team, it really felt like it doesn't matter what they do, they're going to win this game. You know what I mean? It almost felt like me or you could be behind center and just hand the ball off, and the most part will win the game. Because they had that stretch in the middle of the season where...
Sleepwalking.
Yeah, they were sleepwalking. Bennett was maybe thrown for 170 yards and maybe 1 touchdown. He finished the season, what was it, 20 touchdowns and 4 interceptions?
20 passing, 7 rushing, 6 interceptions.
Okay. So
27 and 6.
it's not a bad season, but
No.
with the way people put up numbers in college football, it's like it does at times. You look at those numbers and you go, "Wow, that's a bum." You know what I mean? It's not actually,
Yeah.
but
But
the
that's
way
where-
people look at numbers.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree with you there. That's why I think that's why when you have these people that are just the box scorers,
Mhm.
the box score watchers that look at Caleb Williams, oh, he had a 400 yards against Cal, played Cal.
Yeah.
Cal scored like 38 points in that game. That's because their defense is crap.
Yeah.
You have to throw that many yards. You can't. You have to throw the ball 60 times a game because you can't. It's because you got to throw everybody on your shoulders and hurdle, try to just crawl your way to the finish line. Where Bennett can play good enough. He doesn't have to have the crazy numbers. He has played good enough, and he is taken a big step forward this year. But if they need him anytime this year, if we needed him to make a throw, a big play, he's done that.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, if we don't in the second half, again, we don't need to be like Caleb Williams and throw the ball every play. Ready? Here we go. We're gonna get under center and we're gonna hand the ball off and we're gonna run it and we'll do the Kirby Smart death march. 15 plays, 8 minutes of drive, and just score a touchdown. Unless we fumble the ball like we do all the time.
You guys do fumble the ball a lot.
I mean, that's the LSU third quarter opening drive, running the ball right down their throat. Like we're on the way to the end zone. And we're like at the 30-yard line, the LSU 30. On the handoff, the exchange, we fumble it. And then Bennett gets called for a penalty for blocking a guy.
I saw he like
Chop blocked him.
Yeah.
Chop blocked him because he didn't want him to get it. He was like, oh my god, and just kind of went under.
It was Fowler and who's calling the game?
It was Nestler and Gary
Oh
Danielson.
yeah. So I just remember them being like, "Well,
Wretched
it
Gary Danielson.
doesn't look like he's really going for the ball on that block there."
Right? I know.
But
And Gary Danielson was trying to make a play for why Bama should be in.
oh my gosh, man!
But
But
go ahead.
no, I think I really do think it was a 2-horse race at the end here between Duggan and Williams. I
If
just think
Duggan would have closed the deal and won the game, he would be a lock right now. A lock.
I go back and forth in that in my head because to a degree, I do think Caleb Williams sealed it against Notre Dame because he played amazing in that game against their rival who was ranked. And, he
Again,
did everything he needed to do there. But the only thing I think hurts Williams really right now is that game against Utah was bad. And Max Duggan played better, even though they both lost. So, I mean, if you're looking at wins and losses, I guess it doesn't really matter.
But I mean, one loss came from 4 inches away,
Yeah.
and that's what she said. And then and then also he was also banged up in that game, but he
Yep.
did not let that stop him.
Yeah, you get a point there.
Not getting. But again, what happened when the defense? It looked like the NFL Pro Bowl out there. I watched that entire game. You know how gross that was.
Number
That third
7.
That 3rd and 19 just haunts me still. When 5 guys touched him.
I know that number 7 on USC's secondary needs to have his scholarship taken away or something. That man was getting murdered all night in cover. He couldn't cover, he couldn't tackle.
Right.
He was just out there.
Right. Oh my god. But yeah, that's it should be interesting. But like we said, we think that Caleb Williams is front running this thing, but Duggan's closing in. But I did see, Stetson Bennett led the fan voting.
I saw that, but I wouldn't take too much into that just because
it's still kind of cool. And listen, he's there. You might as well. Hey, he's like a Big West. He's like a Big Ten West team against in the championship. He's there. He might as well try to win it.
Yeah.
Right.
Do
you? Oh, I was just saying. Question for you.
What's up?
Right. Hell, he's made it this far. Let him get there.
Yeah.
Question for you though. So you know how they only allow 4 people? There's only they only invite 4 people. Do you think with the playoff expanding soon, with all this crazy stuff now, and I think now especially people like Stetson Bennett who are going to New York and not Hendon Hooker, or Michael Penix, or Bijan Robinson or Blake Corum, do you see this thing where they expand? And this is now the word of the day for college football, but expand the amount of people they're bringing.
I don't think they'll invite more people, just because I think the Heisman Trophy isn't run through the NCAA; it's its own private thing, and they really do like tradition.
Yeah,
they really do like keeping that tradition of four people going to New York to. Even though I would say most years we kind of already know who won the Heisman, and the 3 other guys are kind of pitying. But the year Joe Burrow won, and they invited Chase Young and Jalen
Trevor
Hurts.
Lawrence. I think it was Trevor Lawrence.
Justin Fields. It was Justin Fields, not T-Law that year.
Trevor Lawrence, crazy, he never won a Heisman.
No, I know he didn't win it, but I still think those years he was the best quarterback in college football for the most part.
That's wild.
Well, it's one of those things where he never put up jaw-dropping numbers.
He put up some sweet numbers.
No, he put up great numbers, but it's one of
he
those.
Won. He went perfect season. I think how many times he only lost 3 times, didn't he?
He did not lose a regular season game as a starting quarterback. I know that.
That's insane.
And
he also never got a haircut while he was there.
Yeah, never got a haircut. Only games he lost, he was I think 26-2 or something like that as a starter at Clemson, maybe even more than that, because the only games they lost were, the games that he started, because they lost against Notre Dame in the COVID year, but he didn't start that game because...
No, he had COVID and was allowed on the sideline, so you tell me where that logic went.
He had a mask.
He had a mask. Yeah, he had his Gator mask on. Yeah. And they left. Meanwhile, the Notre Dame Stadium, they went
the ACC really did not care about COVID that year.
You let Notre Dame in. You're in a gray area right there. We're not going to get different.
They let Notre Dame rush the field.
Things get crazy when Notre Dame football starts rushing the field. Listen,
yeah,
take it easy. They're like a bunch of rebels, and they're like outsiders because they're not in the ACC. Their football team isn't. They're the bad boys on the block coming in.
I think.
If Notre Dame would just go to the ACC, they would continuously every year challenge for the ACC title game.
Yeah, I don't think they would win it every year.
Well, they convincingly kicked the crap out of both teams in it this year.
But it's a similar situation as when you join a conference, it doesn't matter who it is, you eventually reach you're on the same playing level as them eventually.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much better you were before.
Yeah.
It was the same reason, what was it? Missouri went to they won the SEC East, their first year in the conference.
And they won it twice, yeah.
It's what?
They got beat badly both times.
They got beat badly, but it's one of those things where it's you think you're at the same level as everybody eventually because of how talent works there. But
yeah. You kind of scare. I think it was more they're coming from the Big 12 and they almost surprised everybody how they played and stuff.
Yeah. People were like,
maybe.
Dang,
we don't know how to do this.
And
then they let Lane Kiffin become a head coach, and then it kind of evened the playing field.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we'll move off from there unless we had any final words about this. I'm looking to see.
I don't think anything else to add other than no. I mean, I think next year will be fun. I'm gonna say that next year is gonna be really interesting because Stroud, Bryce Young, Bennett, Doug, none of those guys have a chance of going.
Stetson Bennett will find a way back to
Or
another
Hooker.
year eligibility.
He's not on Virginia. He's not on Virginia. He ain't coming back.
Hey, listen, can't be having that.
I was happy about the NCAA doing that. I do think that was a good.
That was a good move on their end.
It was just the seniors, by the way. I don't know if you saw that. Only the seniors got an extra year eligibility.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on.
Mm-hmm.
We'll keep you updated with college football awards. We'll go off through a couple like notable ones from tonight and stuff. Blitnikoff, Jalen Hyatt won.
Yep. Deserving. I think his only
Unless
other.
you're Ohio State fans are unhappy because Marvin Harrison didn't win.
Yeah, but Jalen Hyatt had a fantastic.
He had a hell of a year. Yeah, 15 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Or over 15 touchdowns.
I mean, that game against Bama alone probably he had like 200 yards and 4 touchdowns that game?
He had 5 catches for 270 yards or something and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Something stupid, crazy like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, I think he did deserve to win it this year. I mean, of course, Ohio State fans are going to be upset. No offense to our Ohio State viewers. I know there's actually quite a lot of you guys. But,
Screw Ohio State.
No, Ohio State plays a type of offense where they regularly have wide receivers put up crazy numbers. Not that they aren't talented guys, but it's almost like you guys have too many guys every single year. So you get like voter fatigue after a while.
Yeah,
That's.
I think they looked at also the competition you're playing again.
Yeah.
Competition. Quick update: Sonny Dykes, Coach of the Year. The Home Depot.
Oh, good win. Good win.
He's also the first coach in the playoff era to lead a team in his first year to the playoff.
I will be fair to him. It was actually stiff competition this year. I think he had it sealed up for the most part, but he had kind of stiff competition with Lincoln Riley flipping USC from 4-8 to 11-2, and then Willie Fritz at Tulane flipping the script, going to near a 6 bowl. So it wasn't like he had a pushover group this year, because I feel like for the most year, Coach of the Year ends up being one guy. One guy had a great season. Everybody else kind of.
But they still had They were 2 or 3 losses, but you were able to turn something around. Caleb Williams, Walter Player of the Year. But he didn't paint his nails this time.
Okay.
The Tennessee student section won the Taco Bell Liv Moss selection of the year, student selection of the year, or section of the year. Okay, whatever. Rocky Top. I'm just kind of going through here. Dylan Gibbons, Florida State, won the Warfel Trophy.
What's that for?
Given to the player that best combines exemplary community service with athletic and academic achievement.
So I'll tell you exactly the reason why he won that. He's on our offensive line, by the way. I think he played.
I figured by the picture.
Yeah, he played a little bit of center, but he mainly played. I think it was right guard.
Yeah.
But he was working with this kid. He was bringing him to games. This kid with Down syndrome. He was getting him and his family tickets on the side of the field, on field access. In the locker room a little bit. Mm-hmm. He was doing all this stuff for the community up in Tallahassee. So I think he deserves it. That's not an award you hear a lot of candidates for. It's not like the.
It's like the Walter Payton other year.
It's like that, but you don't hear about it as much.
Mm-hmm.
Or get a cool jersey patch for the rest of your life.
Right.
Every single time you walk into the room.
Right. Brock Bowers, UGA's own, won the Mackey Award. He should have won it last year. But Notre Dame fans, shout out for Michael Mayer, not as good as Brock Bowers.
Yep.
Shout out there. Trying to see who else. Just scrolling through Twitter here at this point, guys. UNC's Tylee Kraft won the Disney Spirit Award, which is, I believe, the comeback player of the year, because 8 months after nearly losing his life to lung cancer, he was awarded the award. Good for him. Bijan Robinson won the Doak Walker Award.
Yes, he did.
Max Duggan, Davey O'Brien Award.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the one that Will Anderson, the Chuck Bendeneric Defensive Player of the Year award.
Mm-hmm.
You could get into a little gray area there. He wasn't as dominant as he was last year. That was for sure. And again, you could look at stats, or you could look at the big games. Texas, Ole Miss, Tennessee, LSU. Where the hell was he?
Yeah.
Not even a threat. Where was he? Him and Dallas Turner. Where were you guys? Weren't on the field apparently because you were getting crushed.
Yeah.
So you could have easily made an argument for people like Jalen Carter, although missing some games hurt him because he was banged up earlier in the year. But my God, if you gave it out now, woo! Trying to think of anybody else. You know who big time defensive players?
Only names I really heard was Harold Perkins.
Although
he really didn't get great this year till near the end of the season, so
yeah,
his numbers are really far behind a lot of guys.
They could be a little skewed too.
Mm-hmm.
There's some other guys, but I just can't remember off the top of my head.
Off the top of my head, I can't really think of too many other guys, but those were the ones that I immediately saw when people were posting about it, that like snubs and stuff. But I really think it's not that Will Anderson had a bad year. Him winning the award really feels like, because it's voted on by the Associated Press guys for the most part. Yeah. It really does feel like they just wanted to validate their preseason picks.
Yeah.
Like because I really don't think Will Anderson deserved it this year.
Well, you remember when Will Anderson in the preseason was being talked at like as a potential Heisman winner? He was going to be the first one since Desmond Howard.
He was getting.
Charles Woodson.
Yeah, it was Charles Woodson. Yeah, you're right. But I really never understood the hype to begin with because he was great, but like, slow down. It's like because like even that year Chase Young went to New York, and I didn't really feel like he ever had a chance.
Move on. Caleb Williams also won AP Player of the Year, becoming the first USC winner since 2005.
Reggie Bush.
Trying to see anybody else. Yeah. Any other awards? Nothing. The Joe Moore has still yet to be determined. That's the offensive line because the finalists are Michigan and Georgia. So that was kind of cool. That's why I was trying to figure out maybe who was going to win that. Yeah. So those are all the awards. If we see any more updates, we'll let you know. But we'll move on to what has been sweeping the nation or in the college football world. As of Monday, the transfer portal opened up Monday, and boy, oh boy, what a day it was. If you think, I keep seeing this picture, this meme where it's like it's like third string quarterback. He's like, man, I'm gonna go somewhere else. It was like line starts here, and there's just like 1,000. So over 1,000 people entered the transfer portal on Monday alone. Mm-hmm. And that included names like Dante Thorson, or I believe that's the wide receiver from Oregon. Jaheim Bell, I believe, is the running back from South Carolina, or tight end. They played him at running back a couple times.
He's been crystal ball to Florida State though.
He's good.
Yeah.
DJ Uiagalelei, Devin O'Leary, just some of the notable names. Graham Mertz just got committed to Kentucky. Cade McNamara went to Iowa. Trying to think of some other big guys that I've seen. There's Rod Thomas. There's a wide receiver from Mississippi State. One of Mississippi State's other top running backs just entered it, and he had a corny little message to Mike Leach that was not well received on Twitter, saying pretty much like, and shout out Mike Leach, who said I wasn't good enough, so I won't be his problem anymore, or something like that. Mm-hmm. So
Oh, I know. I saw. I can quote that to you right now. He said, "Mike Leach said I am not tough.
Yeah.
Therefore, I will not be playing at South Carolina next year
Or Mississippi State.
or Mississippi State." Sorry.
Yeah. Trying to think who else. I can look it up here. Some top but here actually, if you want to type that in or look that up, just look up top
Yep.
players to enter the portal as of the moment. But big names that are staying as of right now, and we just don't know yet some of these bigger teams. But like Drake May, who was a big name to be. There was a lot of people that thought possibly he could test the waters with the portal. It's so weird thinking it's called the portal. But he is staying. He came out with a tweet last night or 2 nights ago saying, like, I'm a Tar Heel for life or something like that.
Yeah.
So he's staying, which is a big thing for North Carolina. Also, some other names to be worried about. JT Daniels.
Yeah.
I saw a funny tweet the other day, or yesterday. It was like, the transfer portal. It was like a Twitter account called like the transfer portal, and it was like, and we welcome back our transfer portalites, and like JT Daniels, we welcome you back to the club, and something like that. JT Daniels will be entering the portal for his 3rd time.
Yep. Looking for his 4th team.
Keaton, at this point, he needs to bounce around. So I saw another tweet. It was like, he needs to, let's see. So he's been to the Pac-12, the Big 12. SEC. So he has at least 2 more years of eligibility. So we need the ACC and the Big 10.
Yeah.
Hey, Wisconsin needs a quarterback now. Here we go. Let's get things rolling here.
Well, NC State's going to need a quarterback.
Oh my gosh. Here we go.
Yeah. So I got the list pulled up right now. We can start at the top if you want.
I was just going to say, a couple names to keep in mind also we haven't heard yet. Jaden Daniels possibly.
Yeah.
Look for him possibly to leave. Because Garrett Newmeyer, I can't say any names right now. I apologize if you end up stumbling on this and want to watch it. Apologize. The quarterback, LSU's backup, who came in the SEC title game, has a cannon, and he's only a freshman.
Yeah.
So look for that. Cade Klubnik, obviously, so we saw Uyunglele leave. Look for a lot of Bama players also left.
A lot of A&M players, too.
Georgia only has 1 player that's left so far, and he was like a 3rd-string offensive lineman or defensive lineman.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like we haven't heard a lot of players from like these playoff teams yet that have wanted to maybe leave. So we'll see after when the season ends. But yeah. But you want to rattle off a couple of key names?
So before I do that, I want to give a little heads up to some people who don't know is not every player who's entering the portal is going to leave their school. Because of the new NIL age, I was reading into it, checking out, there's a lot of guys who are really just going into the transfer portal, trying to get a better deal with the school they have with their NIL money, and then coming back.
You're almost trying to get like an offer somewhere to almost try to like get it price matched.
Exactly. They're more or less just shopping around to see if they can bring
You're trying to blackball,
value.
or not blackball, you're trying to kind of grab your school by the throat and be like, hey, or
I'm
kind
gone
of them up here.
Yep.
Listen, you're giving them an ultimatum, pretty much. He's like, hey, listen, make an example of that. Elliot Walker, who I just made up, unless there's an actually Elliot Walker, then what's up, my man? Ghost plays. He's a second string running back at, I don't know, I'm gonna make up school or say a school like, we'll say this is all hypotheticals, like Kansas State.
Yep.
But I'm not playing. But Coach Kleiman ain't putting me in, so I'm gonna enter the portal. And hey, would you look at that? Let's say Maryland is offering me such and such. Give me 1 second. Turn around. Hey, Coach. Maryland's offering me blank. Can you match? Can you get me something good like that? Because this is free agency now. I mean, this is wild. This puts high school recruiting. This is ahead now of high school recruiting. Because now you can get players that are experienced, have just playing experience is the biggest thing. Like, know what to do. They don't have to worry about kind of like working them in. Like you just give them the playbook, get them to know like the rural environment. Like, but they know what to do. Whereas like in high school kids, you got to bring them in, show them the ways of the land, then kind of work them in. Like this thing is big. It is free agency at its finest, and we're not even out the college football season yet. Wild. But yeah, why don't you name off a couple kids?
Okay, I'll start at the top. So the number 1 ranked
Virginia
guy
guy.
in the nope, he actually just got passed by an A&M recruit, cornerback Devin Harris, who was a 5-star out of high school with immediate eligibility, is in the portal. It doesn't look like there's been any crystal balls or anywhere where they think he could possibly be heading, but he just entered the transfer portal. So I think he'll have 4 years of eligibility, actually.
I know.
Yeah.
I saw something on Google. Georgia, I know, had just offered 2 receivers, one from Mississippi State, and then Toledo's like top receiver, and like he has 2 records, NCAA records. Like he's transferring.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's a big guy, so they've offered them because like Georgia only goes in the transfer portal if they need to.
Yeah.
All right. What else? Who else?
Obviously, you said the guy out of Virginia, but then the bigger names are going to be Devin Leary out of NC State, who, I mean, with his injury and everything, if he can come to whatever school that needs a quarterback, he could be a fantastic option right now.
Oh, he'll get you 10 wins.
Yeah, that's a good pickup. I mean, obviously, DJ Ungalale.
Ungalale.
Okay. He's in there, but from what I've been seeing online, because he is most likely going to be a package deal with his brother, it's really down to Oregon, USC, and Ohio State. I don't think he starts at any of those schools, so he'll probably end up being a backup. So,
Well, he only has, 1 year of eligibility left?
yeah, he's got a single year eligibility, so... I mean, technically, I think he probably might be able to start at Oregon.
But, I mean, they have Ty Thompson there, though, waiting already.
Yeah,
He was supposed to start this year, and then Bo Nix came in.
Yeah, he could wait another year.
Well, then he's going to hop in the transfer portal. Because, hey, Dan, I'm going to go see what Clemson's giving me.
Yeah.
Oh, they're giving me blank? Dan, can you match that?
Not Clemson, though. Clemson doesn't take transfers.
That's right. Dabo, that's like a sin for him.
Yeah.
That's one of the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not touch the portal.
Yeah. So then there's Hudson Card is in the portal. He's the backup for Texas this year.
Was
really
a starter,
good.
though.
I would say he was the starter last year. And really solid quarterback, actually. He's got a good arm. Not fantastic, but he's got a good arm.
He needs to be if he can find a good fit, he will... I think if he can stay healthy, he does get banged up a little bit more often, more than he wants. But if he can find a good fit, I think he might be another useful, solid quarterback.
I haven't heard too much about him yet, I think, off the top of my head, but...
And then you have everybody wants to commit to Colorado, so you got too. If you don't know, Deion's bringing his own luggage, and it's Louis, so... But listen, we can get into a conversation about that in a second if you want, but I have no problem with it.
I mean, what I'll say is I don't have a problem with him doing that. I don't really like him straight up just telling all the kids at the school, hey, I know you came here, I know you worked hard to come to this school, this may have been your dream school, but get out, you ain't playing, buddy. I'm bringing my own guys in.
Now, to be fair,
the open competition part.
No, so that was taken out of context, though.
Mm-hmm.
So what he really was saying was, listen here. Well, before I start, if you are 1-11, I don't care what kind of coach comes in. They should have every right to do what they want to do. You guys stink. You guys stink. Let him bring in his own luggage. I don't care if it's Louis, if it's Old Navy, or if it's Under Armour. Let him bring it in. Because guess what? It might be better than what kind of crap you guys are serving. You guys are 1-11, okay? Something's got to change. They're adults, okay? I didn't know these are adults we're talking about. These are 19 and 22-year-olds.
Yeah.
And he wasn't, I know And it sounded like, and of course he's going to be bringing players. Travis Hunter is expected to, who was the, might want to close your ears, Dylan.
Yeah.
He's expected to enter the portal so that he can go to Colorado. Shiloh Sanders, who was the quarterback at Jackson State, who's Deion's son, one of his sons.
Shadur is the quarterback. Shiloh is the cornerback.
Shiloh is the safety who's staying at Jackson State.
Yep.
Shadur is the quarterback who's supposed to start. But Deion said he's got to actually earn that. But he's going to be transferring in.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, if you stink, let him bring him in. Because guess what? You're going to get... Deion knows how to do this, plays this game. He knows how to play this game. And he has 2 college sons that both play football. Okay? He knows this game. Okay? He knows how to connect to a player, how to get them, how to go connect to the parents, most importantly, to bring them in. And then let alone... I saw the first day he got a IMG Academy, like 5-star or 4-star, like receiver or cornerback, who was getting offered from Ohio State, Miami, Texas A&M, Bama. Chose Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't go there because Ralphie was running around the field. No, he went there because Deion's there. And Deion is going to have a loaded cast, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's Coach Prime. It's prime time. Now, he did say, back to the context, though, I believe he did go into saying, like, listen, I'm just saying that, I'm kind of paraphrasing here, I'm saying the transfer portal is open if you guys are open. I have no issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to stay here, you better find some, but you better dig deep, and because you're going to have to earn it. Because I'm bringing guys in who are also hungry and are going to have a slight edge. So if you guys want to have a shot at competing with it, you guys got to earn it. I think that's really what he was kind of going into saying. But it kind of got blown out of context a little bit because of how he says it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, I think he is... Watch out, because UCLA and USC are leaving. Who's to say Colorado might not just start running the Pac-12, Pac-10? Although I think they're going to get...
San Diego State.
Well, UNLV might be another one, because Barry Odom just went and took that job.
Yeah, so San Diego State, UNLV, possibly. They might even add 4 teams just so they can, as much money as possible when they renegotiate for television. You add Nevada and maybe Boise State or Wyoming or something.
Well, then you start breaking up the Mountain West, though.
No, they don't care.
If you're going to go in the Mountain West, why would I would rather have, like, Fresno State than Nevada.
No, but I don't know if for money, though. Nevada, you add UNLV and Nevada because then you can force a rivalry there.
They can't let Oregon leave though to go to the Big Ten.
No, they can't. They won't. They will not.
They can't.
They got them locked up longer than they had USC and UCLA locked up because of the Phil Knight money.
Oh yeah. Are there any other key names in the portal?
In the portal, there's a couple of funny ones I was looking through because you got Haynes King out of A&M's in there.
Stinks. Get him out.
He's going to go to some school and ball out. Jeff Sims at Georgia Tech. He is also a former Florida State commit, but not like he's done much since. Bunch of Miami guys.
A lot of A&M and Bama guys.
Yep. So there's not that as much as you would think. There's just a lot of strange. Yeah, Keaton Slavis is in there.
I tell you what, though, we talked about Deion. You know who else is going to have a time of his life in here? This is like Thanksgiving dinner. For our man, the Lane Train, down in Ole Miss.
Yeah.
They had 17 transfers last year. I think somewhere around there. They had double-digit transfers, out of the teens. You don't think he's going to just go in and just pick up whoever he wants?
There's a lot of good players, too.
Because now you could do what USC does, and might be the recipe for Colorado with NIL and transfer portal being such a crazy thing now. You don't have to rebuild anymore.
Yeah,
you can get a 1-year team, a 2-year team. Okay? Like, you can go out and fix all your problems overnight. No, it's the way that football, this college football, like, this has changed, like, from just a couple years ago, like you would have to kind of like work your way through the system, earn your spot.
Yeah.
And if you're not happy, see ya. See ya. That's why I don't think Bama's teams are going to be as dominant because, I mean, you see it now. I mean, I think they're up to like 13 or 14 guys. Like, you're not playing. These kids want to play.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they want to sit around? And I think that's cool. Like Florida State, I haven't heard a lot of people leave yet. Georgia hasn't had anybody like of significance.
Yeah.
And I think it's kudos. Like, I mean, we had 14 guys leave last year, but like none of them were really anybody. I think there was like 2 guys that were like importance. But like we were able, both our teams, and we're not just the only 2 teams. Like other teams too. Like if you're able to establish a good culture, you want to get to the point where like these kids, why would they want to leave you? Like, do you want them to embrace that journey? Now if you're in a certain spot where like you're just not, you've been there, you're not getting anything. That's one thing, but that's why I always get a little worried, like with teams that go out and they recruit like all these like top ton like quarterbacks and linebackers and cornerbacks. They have so much depth. It's like these guys aren't going to play it all though.
They're not going to stay.
Like Georgia just got another big quarterback, but like we already have Carson Beck who's on deck. Brock Vandergriff is in the hole. Mm-hmm. If he wants to play, I'm shocked. I've heard he's been playing well though, like on the scout team.
Yeah, I would have been surprised if he entered the portal though.
But apparently like, he's playing scout team against the number ones, and he was lighting them up. So who's to say? But Carson Beck's definitely going to start next year for us. But even him, like he's a 5-star. Like he came in last year. He came in actually as the backup, and then Bennett was 3rd string, and then Bennett beat him out. But hey, I mean, at that point you could have been like, oh my God, I'm not going to play, because Daniels is there. You know what I mean? That could have been a spot. But he stayed, and now look at that. Now he's in line to start next. Again, it could have been this year. Bennett was supposed to leave. He's back. All right. See ya. I'm going to take my talent somewhere. My sophomore year. Said he's going to be in line to start. I think he'll have at least 2 years because he's redshirted. But I think that's key, though. Okay, I think Norvell's starting to establish that, too.
Yeah. It's taken a while for Norvell just because when he inherited that Willie Taggart team.
Nonsense.
Yeah, it's because you had the kids from the previous coaching staff finishing up there with Jimbo Fisher, and as you can tell from Texas A&M right now, the way Fisher recruits is not a what fits our roster, but a what's their ranking on 24/7 Sports. That's how he likes to recruit. That's how he's always.
That's the box score watchers right there.
If you watch how he recruits too and how his teams is, he always struggles with offensive line because he never recruits offensive line help. So
that's why offense is archaic.
Yeah, that's exactly why. It's like they run a bad system. Anyways, so you had all these guys who came in for Jimbo. Jimbo leaves. They don't want to be there, but it was really before the portal was as accessible as it is now. So it was like a total mess because you had the Willie Taggart kids who Taggart just did nothing. He didn't recruit well. He didn't coach well. Weren't doing anything. Yeah. And then you had all those kids from there. So he had to not only dismiss a ton of guys out of there, but then he had to bring all these guys in with the portal. While he's doing that, he was trying to desperately recruit, but he was getting hit with some bad news. Some guys on the coaching staff who needed to leave because they could not recruit well. Speaking about Coach Dillingham, guy could not recruit. I don't understand why. Hopefully he succeeds at Arizona State, but he could not recruit at Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been the biggest thing with them.
Yeah. So I was trying to see if there's any more award announcements here. Nothing I see of right now. I think we will. Georgia just landed Jaden Perlot today.
Mhm.
It's a 5-star linebacker. So check that one off the list. It just feels so good to be great. I'm sure he'll start one day, and I won't know his name at the start of the year, and I will know it by the end of the year. I do a good job as a fan. That each year it's hard on me.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you too. You have to memorize everybody, well, at least the starters. It takes you a couple games. You got to understand. This year alone, like the D line, I always get like Stackhouse, Walt Tower, and Logue all mixed up. I don't know why. 'Cause they all look similar, and then there's Papa Jalen. I mean, just rocking on the sleeve, pointing it up in the air. I mean, you love bread, man. So we'll move on. Briefly touch up any coaching news. We talked about Deion.
Mm-hmm. I think the biggest thing to talk about Deion, though, is that I don't love the coaching staff he's put together so far. Specifically, one move he's made. I don't know if you saw, but he just hired his defensive coordinator today.
It was the defensive assistant or something at Bama, wasn't it?
Yeah, Charles Kelly. So if you didn't know, Charles Kelly was Jimbo Fisher's defensive coordinator at Florida State.
Uh-oh.
So what I'll say about this guy is he's a terrible defensive coordinator.
But I will say, kudos to Deion. He went in and stole Kent State's head coach.
Yeah, I saw
making
that.
the OC.
Yeah, that was crazy.
You don't just go and take a decent, one of the top tier MAC coaches and just make him an OC. Like, that's pretty good. So
I mean, it's impressive. It also speaks to Colorado's financial commitment to putting.
Well, they don't have the money yet. Actually, you see, their AD said that they don't have the money, but we're gonna get it there.
Yeah, but the fact that they could do that to a head coach really does say, well, maybe they are seriously committed. Yeah,
for sure. Trying to think of anybody else who. Jim Leonard, who anybody knows, was Wisconsin's longtime defensive coordinator. And then when what's the guy's name? When their head coach got fired, I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. Leonard stepped in as the intern, and then he was supposed to possibly just walk and maybe find a different spot because Wisconsin ended up hiring Fickle.
Yeah.
And then a couple of days ago, you saw Leonard was going to stay on Fickle's staff as the DC, which I thought was going to be huge. And then all of a sudden, I just saw recently as well, like Leonard's now gone. So that's that. So now they have to find somebody. Scott Satterfield just left Louisville to take the Cincinnati job. So I guess been hearing Louisville fans, Christmas came early. Trying to think who else. And then Jeff Brom, Purdue's head coach, just took the Louisville job.
Yep.
He had been considered a candidate before because of his ties with Louisville. I have a buddy who's a Purdue fan, so I of course talk trash to him. But he was not too pleased because he liked Brom.
I wasn't surprised at the move, though. I think that actually the move really does speak well for the ACC, though.
It does,
like in general.
But for Louisville, they had a good class coming in, and now they got a bunch of guys decommitting. Like, these are top 4 stars and like 2 5 stars.
Yeah.
Like, so a solid class was coming in, and then all of a sudden, they're all decommitting.
I will say, though, at the same time, Satterfield was probably going to be fired next season because he had not done anything at Louisville at all.
No.
Like, he was a 7-6 merchant.
He kind of not destroyed. He kind of he buried Malik Cunningham a little bit.
Yeah.
Because Malik Cunningham has a bunch of potential, but I don't think we ever really saw it all.
No.
I don't know if it was maybe him. It could just been him, but I don't know if it was just the play calling or just the environment, the scheming, but we just never saw it. So, trying to think of anybody else in the coaching world. Ohio State's quarterback coach, and then their assistant OC or someone is going to take a job somewhere. I forget where.
No, NC State just hired Syracuse's offensive coordinator.
Okay. But again, that's something we're going to end up, we'll keep posted.
Mhm.
And it's going to be more active. Although, I will say, this is probably the most it's going to be active because you have to, if you're going to, you got to hire somebody early if you want, like, these early signing periods, transfer portal, like, they got to be able to make a staff together.
You got to move really quickly in the
So
same.
honestly, this might be like the biggest stuff that's going to happen because, I mean, what do you guys? I don't know because what are you going to? Although I will say this kind of ties to the transfer portal. Braylon Allen, who's Wisconsin's star running back, made a comment a couple weeks ago saying how, he was not, he wouldn't be, he was probably going to. He came out, I think, and said something about like he would be willing to transfer if Jim Leonard wasn't like rehired or put up for the head coaching spot.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got obviously, and then it kind of ties back to Leonard staying, and then all of a sudden now he's gone. Well, Braylon Allen now enter the transfer portal. So
I guess we'll see there.
I think that's all we have so far.
Yeah, I think that's it for the moment. But
And then we'll do a little segment now here before to wrap things up. We'll do a little bowl game edition. We're just going to rattle off three bowl games that we like, just briefly. And maybe like a little like teaser, like why we like it. I'll let you start.
I'm going to start with
New Year's 6, non-playoff, and any other games.
Yeah. So I'm going to start off with my biased take, Florida State versus Oklahoma. Obviously, the only reason I really care about this game is Florida State's finally returning to a bowl game for the first time since 2019 was the last time we went to a bowl game, and first time since 2016 a good bowl game. But obviously the only reason I'm really excited for this is because the Noles are finally playing a bowl game. But I'm just excited to watch this team play again. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but we've put more effort into our NIL group. We have a second NIL collective called the Battle's End. That's the reason Jordan Travis is returning, Trey Benson's returning, Robert Scott's returning. We're trying to keep a lot of the guys who probably could have been drafted to stay for an extra season.
I think Travis would have stayed another year.
It was the only thing was that
off topic. Sorry, I just remembered.
There you go.
Spencer Sanders.
Yeah, he's in the portal.
Oklahoma State quarterback. A little surprised he did that because I think he was entered his senior year anyway.
Mm-hmm.
All right, continue.
Just wants to wear different uniforms, but
got tired of the orange.
Yeah. That's all I have to say about that game. But I'm just excited to watch the Noles play. Moving on to my second most excited one. I'm going to be completely honest with you. This game, I don't really think the game's going to be all that great. However, the uniform combo could be one for the ages. USC versus Tulane.
Oh, that's not the one I was thinking about.
Yeah, no, I mean, the game itself I don't think is going to be anything crazy just because USC won't have Caleb Williams. It probably won't have Jordan Addison. And who knows?
No, anybody.
Yeah, they're not going to really have anybody playing, so I think Tulane's going to win it.
I'm just going to say, I saw that line.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even big.
No.
It's, I have the line pulled up. USC's only a 1.5 point favorite right now.
Yeah, Tulane's gonna end up being favored when it actually comes to the game, because USC's gonna have so many guys opting out.
I'll take it right now.
Yeah, but if both teams wear their home uniforms for that game, oh my gosh, that'd be so good to watch.
Tulane has some nice unis.
Yeah, and USC's colors really do pop, like the way they look. Mm-hmm. I do think they pop well, and I think those two uniforms against each other, like, man, that'd be awesome. Hopefully they don't wear white. That's my only prayer.
One of them will.
I hope not, just because I hope... Same thing with how USC, when UCLA and USC played, they both wear their home uniforms. So it was blue versus red, which looked fantastic on TV.
But usually they don't do that for bowl games.
I think they should. That's just me being my opinion. I just think it's for the fans.
Listen, I 100% agree.
Yeah, that's how I think. In my opinion, it's for the fans. Let the fans have something to look at for the end of the year. And then the last one, it is going to be Iowa versus Kentucky.
Oh God,
it's going to be a nightmare. Will Levis is not playing, and correct me if I'm wrong. Iowa is going to be starting their third string quarterback because Petras isn't playing, and then the backup transferred.
Dude,
So
it's gonna whatever the under is, hit it.
I think it's like it's gonna be like the under's gonna be 30. You still want to take the under, or the line's gonna be 30. Take the under
Let me
still.
see. So right now, hey, you can get tickets as low as $18 for the game.
Yeah,
Iowa is currently a 2-point favorite. The over/under, take a guess. Don't look at it. Take a guess.
33.
31.5.
Yeah,
31.5.
take that under. It's gonna be like a 9-6 game.
Oh, that's too many. It's gonna be like a 3-0 game.
There's gonna be a safety in there, man. There's gonna be
3-2. 3-2.
Yeah.
Kentucky's gonna squeak one out with a game-winning field goal. Not lose 2-0.
Fans are gonna rush the field. They're going crazy in Nashville.
They're gonna do what Vanderbilt did, and just have like an escorted.
Be slowly brought onto the field.
Right.
Oh man, that would be fantastic. I would love to see that. I'm so excited for the Music City Bowl.
This is actually. Oh no. Kentucky was in. Was Kentucky there last year too?
I think they may have. Were they in the? I thought they had a good year last year.
They did, but I think or were they in the Outback Bowl?
I think they were in the Outback, because it's now called the
Romantics.
or
No.
the Real Quest or whatever.
Excuse me.
Very good.
Yeah, the Real Quest, Mississippi State, Illinois. All right. So those are your three.
Yeah.
Okay. Mine are. I'll start. So I will say. So this is where I thought you were going for uniforms. The Orange Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Feed me. I need both teams wearing all orange. If I don't get that, we should riot. We should be allowed to, because that is an abomination. Clemson's going to come out and screw around and wear purple, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
I mean, this is what's going to happen, right? They're going to wear purple. Dabo would do that, wouldn't he? See what he said? He said you're going to need enough to score 35. It won't be enough for them Tigers. Oh my God, Dabo. Woo! Dabo. Anyway, although I will say, I was thinking about that game. We have to see how. What's their quarterback? Is it Garrettano? No, it's not Garrettano, is it?
Who?
For Tennessee.
Is it not Milton?
Oh, it is Milton. I was thinking
Yep.
Garrettano. He was their old guy.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I will be interested in Milton and how Tennessee's defense plays against Cade Klubnik, who is a lot better than.
You know what? I'll come out and say he's a baller.
Yeah,
Young
he's
baller,
good.
young one, but he's still a baller.
He's good. I mean, he and North Carolina's defense isn't anything special either, but he torched them.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how Tennessee's pass defense plays. I think Clemson's like a 7.5-point favorite, so we'll see. I think that's going to be a high-scoring affair.
I agree with that.
Recently, Clemson's defense has not been well at all, so I think that'll be a fun one.
Clemson's defense did play well against UNC, but outside of that, they haven't been great this season.
Yeah. So my next game.
I do want to say something before you go any further. The Kentucky played in the Verbo Citrus Bowl last year against Iowa.
Oh, so that's what it was. They played each other. And Kentucky won. There you go.
Petrus had 3 interceptions.
Yeah, Petrus stinks, and he'll be the backup next year too. I'm just kidding. All right, next game is Duke and not Duke. Excuse me. North Carolina and Oregon. Excuse me.
Ooh.
They're in the Credit Union Holiday Bowl. That'll be on Fox. That's Fox's bowl game. First of all, just an interesting matchup. Color game's going to be on point as well. And you get to see some solid quarterbacks, Drake May and Bo Nix, assuming that they are healthy and playing.
I think Drake May will be playing, but I don't think Bo Nix will.
He might not.
Mhm.
Regardless, it's going to be a fun one. Oregon has both teams have a shot to get to 10 wins. Who, if Dan Lanning does that, that's one heck of a first year as well. Especially after what had happened at the beginning of the year.
Mhm.
I mean, you lose by 46.
Season's down the drains most years, right
Especially if you're a first-time head coach ever. First-time coaching ever.
Mhm.
I mean, that was kudos to him for being able to turn the ship around. I mean, they were in the playoff hunt for a while, and then they crapped their head again. But kudos to him, and kudos to Mac Brown again. Let's see if they... North Carolina, they were... I think they were... Weren't they like 8-2 or 8-1? They were 9-1. And they just have really been struggling late. So, we'll see. I think, they've lost their last 3 because they were 9-1.
Man, that's...
So... That'll be interesting. But, okay, that's an interesting matchup there. And then my last one, I was going back and forth with it. But I will say, I think I'm going to roll with either... Well, Notre Dame, South Carolina is a sneaky, solid one. 2 ranked teams. South Carolina, who played Eliminator at the end of the game, or end of the year. Let's see if they can keep it rolling against Notre Dame, who doesn't have their starting quarterback anymore.
Yep.
So we'll see how they bounce back. I think Notre Dame's favored right now. I think South Carolina's going to win that game.
It's the We Beat Clemson Bowl.
Yeah, who's your daddy bowl? That's what I've been hearing a lot of people saying.
Yeah.
But I think South Carolina can win that game because I think Spencer Rattler's he's found the switch. Yep. Finally, they've been waiting all year for it, and he has found the switch. And I know he still had a really bad turnover, 2 bad turnovers against Clemson, but he did good enough to win. And I know it took a couple special teams blunders, but they're ranked, and I think they have a chance to go. Who would have thought? If I told you at the beginning of the year, or like let's say after the Georgia blunder for South Carolina, they lost by 41. Your team is going to finish 9-4, beat Tennessee and Clemson, and then beat a ranked Notre Dame team. What would you say?
I would say...
Did I tell you that your quarterback threw for like 15 touchdowns entering the Tennessee game?
Mm-hmm. I would say for Shane Beamer's second season, that's a good year.
That's a great year.
That's a good year for... Well, I don't know if I'd say great, just because...
Well, depending on where they were last year, though.
They went 7-5 last year, right?
Yeah, but you go 9-4. It's 2 more games.
Yeah. You know what? If they do get to 9-4, I would say it's a great year.
Florida State went 7-5 last year.
Yeah.
And you guys are going to...
There's a chance to win 10 games.
I mean, exactly, though. But you still, you're taking that next step forward. It just took Norvell another year. I think for Marcus Freeman, he has the same. They're both teams are 8-4. Mm-hmm. That would be another solid year for Marcus Freeman, who a lot of people were questioning, like, hey, is really this guy the right guy for the job? I mean, they were 1-2. They just lost to Marshall, and they about lost to Cal. God forbid the Hail Mary didn't hit.
Yeah.
Because they were 0-2, and then that Hail Mary, but they got the win. So they were able to rebound, and so that'll be a good game. I know we'll talk about it later, but I just thought, why not just bring it up real quick?
Oh, yeah, why not? Yeah, I got you.
The Alabama-Kansas State game, sneaky one. Bama's still a 3.5-point favorite. That line was at 5.5 it opened at. I would think about taking Kansas State while there's still points because Bama is not going to have a lot of players playing.
I don't know. Has Bryce Young opted out yet? Because I think he will eventually.
He will. I would not imagine why he would play in this game.
Yeah.
I don't know why Will Anderson would play in this game. I don't know why anybody that has first-round significance would play in this game. I think Deuce Vaughn and Will Howard they have found something in him, and he's going to be around next year. And, man, he just gets this team a spark. And I think they're playing with house money right now. I mean, Chris Kleiman has a chance to go 11-3 at Kansas State and beat Bama.
Mhm.
So, I mean, Bama's Bama. I think that's going to be a good game. It's so weird, though, because the Sugar Bowl, it's a noon kickoff. When was the last time a Sugar Bowl was a noon kickoff?
What was it? No, I can't think of it because I was thinking of a Peach Bowl game. That's it. That's the only thing
The
I can think
Peach
of.
Bowl games are always, like, the early kick. But, like, the
Yeah.
Sugar Bowl, like I know when Georgia plays them a bunch, when we don't make the playoff, like, it's always, like, the 8 o'clock game. Like, on New Year's Day.
Mhm.
Like, I always got to wait around all day. But, like, that's weird. Like, New Orleans, New Year, it's, to be fair, it's on January, it's New Year's Eve. That's weird, though. Oh, well. Well, I guess because they got the playoff games that night.
Yeah, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like you could at least give the 4 o'clock window.
That's the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, you put it at the same time.
So, because what they usually do is they put the Peach Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, that leads into the playoff. They just this year it's the Sugar Bowl, but hey, that'll be an interesting one. We'll have a big full down bowl preview breakdown. We'll just talk about bowl games.
Yeah.
So, but I got nothing else. Just ready for see who wins the Heisman, Army, Navy. Who do you like?
I like Army.
Same.
I like Army.
I think Army's won like 4 of the last 6.
Yeah, I got a boy at West Point too, so I can't let him down.
Exactly. Hey, tell them to get the boys ready.
Future soldier,
Right.
Future soldier. Well, future like colonel in the Army. That dude's genius.
Right? But right, I got yeah. Let's root for Army.
Let's go Black
But
Knights.
yeah, Black Knights. I mean, it's better than the sheep, right?
Yeah.
Midshipmen? Yeah, the sheep. Yeah. Okay. Intimidating. Go stand over with the Syracuse orange, please. Thank you. But yeah, that's all I got. There's nothing really else coming on this week, college football wise. Just keep an eye on the portal. Just keep an eye on the coaching. And we should have what do you want to do our next show? Sunday night?
Yeah, Sunday night's gonna be easiest. I don't know how it is for you. I know you're going to the football game, but
No, that's next weekend.
next week.
That's
Never
the-
mind. We're perfect then. We should be perfect for it.
I'll be good to go.
So then we could do a
Should
little
be
bit
good
of
to roll.
bowl. Yeah, we talk about post Heisman, what our thoughts are on the winner
And
and,
then
the
we'll
voting
just-
itself.
Mhm.
And then
And
get
then we'll
straight
just
to bowl
do a-
preview.
Yeah, because our first bowl game is December 16th. So next Friday is Miami, Ohio, and UAB. That's the Bahamas Bowl, and then the Cure Bowl. By the way, that's just another sneaky one, which we didn't talk about. UTSA and Troy, 2 teams that easily could have had a shot, a say in being the New Year's 6 Group of 5 team.
Yeah,
That's a sneaky good one. I mean, I'll be definitely taping in. Troy's a 1-point favorite right now. Troy's good, I will say. They ran right through Coastal Carolina and James Madison.
yeah.
And then, it took an App State Hail Mary, too. Think about it. So,
I mean,
hey,
it's a good year.
I mean, I don't care. Listen, Troy's Troy. So, anyway, that's all I got
The
today.
Trojans.
Right? Trojans, that's right. I still won't forget when they played Clemson and a couple of years ago, and they got screwed by the refs the entire game. They remember Clemson fumbled the ball at the 1-yard line. Troy picked it up, returned it all the way for a touchdown, and it got called back because apparently the whistle was bled dead. And you couldn't even hear it. So, well, always for Troy. We fight for Troy, whatever their thing is. I don't know.
Hey, they're like the other Trojans. That's all
Although-
I can think of.
Scott Satterfield gets to play in the Scott Satterfield Bowl, the Wasabi Bowl at Fenway Park, Cincinnati, Louisville. They're on the same side. The sidelines are all on the same side.
Mhm.
So which side Scott Satterfield's on?
Oh, he ain't showing up. He ain't showing up.
Oh,
He ain't showing up.
Well, that was like the Mississippi State AD who took the Auburn AD a
Yeah.
week before they were supposed to play each other.
Mhm.
So it was like,
That-
which
I
side's he going to do?
That's not as bad as like a head coach because
Eh,
athletic director's a little bit more disconnected. But like it's not like coach has been hanging out with all those players, getting those kids to come to that school, and he's like, "Oh, I'm over here in Cincinnati."
he's just like in the middle. Just
Oh,
wearing
he's-
like a gray shirt.
Yeah, he'll do the opening, the coin flip.
What a name, though. Wasabi Fenway Bowl.
It's the ugliest game to have a stadium. Or a
They
stadium
still doing the
game.
Pinstripe Bowl?
Yeah, it's in Yankee Stadium.
Aaron Judge signed. Nice.
I saw that. Way too
Yeah.
much money.
Have to hate it if you're a Rays fan.
No, because the thing is with Judge is he's 30 and they signed him for 8 years?
9 years, $40 million a year.
Yeah,
He's going to make more a year than the Pirates' entire payroll.
Exactly. And the Rays are finally spending money, so it doesn't really bother me too much.
All right, well, we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
If you had anything else to say.
Nope, just excited to go to work tonight.
Wonderful. Hey, I love that grind.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, like we said at the beginning, all it takes is a tap. Subscribe, view the channel, hit us up on Spotify. It really means a lot. Just hit that follow button on Spotify. But mostly, let's get you to YouTube. And just hit that subscribe button. It doesn't take a lot. Tell them, Dylan. It doesn't take a lot.
It takes 5 seconds. I just had a conversation. I just asked
Not
them,
even.
Hey, could you please? You don't have to you don't have to love the show or anything. Just give us a follow. Just hang out with us. Bam, that easy. That simple.
Boom. This is gonna be the thumbnail.
Exactly.
It's actually gonna be the thumbnail. So we're just gonna actually, just like right here. Right.
Yeah.
So, wait. Oh man, we have so much fun, don't we?
Way too much.
Right? I think we're just all hallucinating right now. But yes,
That live show's gonna be crazy.
Right? Hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot. We'll be back Sunday. This is the Nose and Dogs podcast signing off. Have a good night, guys.
Have a great night, guys.